Hey, welcome back. This is our Point Man Expanded discussion, and today we're going to talk about protection. Uh, I mentioned this weekend that the Point Man he's the one who is in the front of the team. He's leading them forward in a patrol, and because of that, he's assessing the environment and he's choosing the best way around obstacles, but he's also assessing for threats, things that can hurt the team. And so because of that, protection is the number two focal point here for me. And I just want to lay this out very clearly. The way that we protect our family best is by choosing Jesus above everything else. It's really simple. We have a choice on what we prioritize. And when we prioritize things that are not the Lord, we can get messed up, okay? Never in the history of the world has there been so many opportunities to do things. And because of that, there's never been more of a demand for our time. But with that, we as the point men in our families, we need to be the ones who are assessing the opportunities that are in front of us and judging them through the grid of Jesus being number one. And there's gonna be things that we do. I want you to go take, a vacation. That's part of Jesus being number one, honestly. It takes care of your relationships, taking care of yourself, working out every day is something that I do. And some people think that, whatever, it's time that's spent away from my family or whatever. Me working out for an hour a day is going to make me, first of all, not crazy. And it's going to help me to be the best me possible, and to be the best me possible for a lot longer, because I'm going to live longer than if I didn't train. And so there's a lot of things that are there that, on the surface you might go, well, what does that have to do with God? Everything has to do with God if it's in proper balance, because the Lord wants you to have a full and rich life in this world, okay? It doesn't mean it's not going to stink sometimes. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have trouble, but it does mean that he wants you to have what he called the abundant life. And that starts with being in relationship with him, but it also means enjoying the relationships you have with other people too. So all of these things can fit together, but it's a matter of keeping the main thing the main thing. When Jesus is number one, he's the thesis. He's the anchor point. It's like if you've ever had a rope or a hose on the ground and you need to straighten it out, you grab that hose by one of its ends and you pull it, and everything else lines up behind that. And that's what we do with Jesus being number one in our lives. We grab hold of him and let everything else in our life line up behind that, because it will. I go on dates with my wife because Jesus is number one. I do work around my house because Jesus is number one. All these things are worship. It's just about where they fit and what it all looks like. And our kids, hear me on this, gentlemen, as point men, one of the biggest things, because I don't know about you, but I am my kid's biggest cheerleader. I'm sure most of you are too. Gavi was a great lacrosse player. Mariah loves basketball. And so there were always opportunities for us to be at games, tournaments, things like that. And you have to do that, Dad. You have to do that. That's part of the deal, okay? But the thing is this: if those things start getting in the way of their relationship with God, that's going to be a problem. And it's a problem you don't want. Because again, all of these things, they pull on our time. And if your kid's talented and they're on travel team, whether that's baseball or basketball, or the AAU hoops, whatever it is, if they're on, travel dance team or cheerleading or whatever, all those things are going to pull on their time and pull on your time. And they're going to take you out of church for the weekend. And that's okay if that happens periodically. But if it starts happening like every weekend for months at a time or whatever, you've got to figure out if that's really what you want. Because the problem I see, and I've seen this in my own churches, I've seen this in friends' churches where they have parents that love God, that raise their kids in church, and their kid happens to be a good athlete, and they start traveling around, and all this stuff starts coming, and these opportunities, and they're like, hey, pastor, we're not going to be around for a little while because we got X, Y, and Z going on. But all of a sudden, see, it's not even the time not being in church. It's what it's saying to your kids. It's saying that all these other things matter more than Jesus. Now, that may not totally be what you think. That may be the exact opposite of what you think. But what it speaks to our kids is that Jesus is kind of here, and what I want and what I do is up here. And the problem with that is that eventually they're going to live that out in their lives. They're going to end up going, Jesus is cool, I love the Lord, but whatever, but what I want is what's most important. And they will live fulfilling that. See, but that's not the way that this thing works. And it's not like you have to be a hermit. It's not like you have to never, go have fun. You guys know me well enough to know that I enjoy a lot of things in life, and I am in no way a hermit, but the Lord is still number one. And you've got to keep that communicated to your family. And you need to do that by protecting your priorities, that Jesus is number one. One of the ways you can do that is if you are on a tournament, or you're going to be gone. Whenever you're gone from church, I get it. You've got to go on vacation and take care of your family. You've got to go to that tournament, maybe a couple times a month during the season. I understand that. But then make sure, if you miss church, that you watch the service with your kid that week, with your whole family. Because that conveys priority. Be like, look, we missed church this weekend. We need to be fed the word from our pastor. And so we're going to watch this right now. And if they give you a hard time, you can just say, hey, well, we're going to watch this now, or we'll be sure to watch it, in church next time there's a tournament. And I guarantee you, they'll be settling up next to you on the sofa to watch it on the computer. So the thing is, in doing that, is you're telling your child, Jesus is what matters most. We might be doing all this other stuff, but he is number one. When you do that, you become like Joshua, and you just declare to him or her and all the other families, you tell them, say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. When you do that, man, you're never going to lose, point man. You're never going to lose, because you will be establishing the priority. You're pulling on that rope, and you're setting everything else in alignment behind it, because you need to live, and you need your kids to live, but they need to live going the direction that you need them to go to follow the Lord and stay safe and stay saved and stay focused on the kingdom. So today, your priority, my brother, is to protect your family. Protection is your number 2 job as the point man, and you do that by protecting their priorities. All right, God bless you. Hope you have a great day.